Raila Odinga denied access to South Sudan's Vice President Masharr, who is currently under house arrest and accused of stirring a rebellion. Welcome back to our channel. Press the subscribe button for more news bulletins. Now, we all know that Raila Odinga is currently visited South Sudan. The major issue why Raila Odinga visited South Sudan was to try and negotiate the political tension between South Sudan president and his vice president, who is currently under house arrest.
Well, as I said yesterday, I went to Juba, South Sudan, as an envoy of IGAD. President Ruto had spoken to President Museveni of Uganda, Prime Minister Abiy of Ethiopia, and President Omar Gele of Djibouti. This is because of the deteriorating security situation in South Sudan. So I went to Juba and had a meeting with the President Salva Kiir of the South Sudan in its office. You know that recently the first Vice President, Mr. Raila Masharr, has been put under house arrest. Him and his wife and a number of other people. This is what concerned the leadership in the region. The situation in South Sudan is explosive and can explode any time. So I had a lengthy discussion with President Kiir, who told me about challenges they're facing, that there was a killing of a general and about 10 other people in the town of Nasir in the Upper Nile, and this is what they are actually investigating. And because of this, he said that Vice President Dr. Raila Masharr had been placed under house arrest as they continue with their investigations. From Juba, I asked to be allowed to talk to Dr. Masharr, but they were not able to allow me to see him. They recommended that I meet with President Museveni. So from Juba, I went to Entebbe and had a meeting with President Museveni. I reported to him what I had found in South Sudan, and after lengthy discussions, he said he was going to get in touch with President Kiir. So we agreed that I would go back to Juba later. So I've come back here, and I just want to say that it is a work in progress. I'm going to make a report to President Ruto and Prime Minister Abiy and President Gele of my findings in South Sudan. The situation requires international attention. I'm happy with the UN for getting engaged in what is going on in South Sudan. I think it is a situation that warrants intervention by international community. Thank you.
If you can say it in Kiswahili.
Maybe before that, first, is it that Masharr is linked to the killings of the general and the 10 other people? And also, when are you going back to Juba for the other negotiations?
They have not said that Riek is involved. They're saying that some of his supporters, but they say that some militia who are linked to him, but they have not actually made a direct connection between him and the killing of the general. So we hope that they're going to finalize this matter as quickly as possible. They say that when I go back
Well, President William Ruto appointed Raila Odinga as a social envoy to South Sudan, and his deputy, Alpha Kiir, denied Raila access to meet Masharr, his deputy, who is currently under house arrest. Raila aimed at solving their political conflict, more like a peaceful dialogue. Raila landed in Sudan and discussed with the South Sudan President Alpha Kiir. Unfortunately, Raila was not allowed access to the vice president, who is currently under house arrest over killing of military general and 10 others in Nasir Upper Hill State. The authorities linked the attack to Masharr, the vice president of South Sudan, sparking a political unrest and tension. Well, is it right for Raila to intervene the political unrest between Alpha Kiir, president of South Sudan, and Masharr, the deputy, over political unrest and killing linked to him? What could be the reasons behind blocking of Raila from meeting Masharr? Well, President William Ruto once hosted the rebels from South Sudan, the RSF, and formed an alliance consisting of political players, armed groups of strength, RSF dominance in Sudan, to allow RFS to form a separate government and control selected regions in Sudan. Sudan government didn't actually like this, leaving Kenyans at a big critique rate and controversy, accusing Kenya of orchestrating divisions among countries. Kenya aimed at creating a parallel government with the South Sudan rebels to overturn the current regime. I think the South Sudan president was still angered by all this relationship of Kenya and the Sudan rebels. And yet Kenya is still trying to play the matchmaker by trying to solve the political crisis in the country of Sudan. I don't think Sudanese President Salva Kiir would have allowed Raila Odinga to actually solve the political crisis. Hence, he first told him to go and talk to Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the president of Uganda. This is more like a frustration to Raila Odinga, according to me. Raila came to solve the political conflict, and yet he's being sent to go see Yoweri Museveni to discuss with him further before actually reverting back to the president of Sudan. Doesn't make sense to me. I find it like a disrespect to Raila Odinga. I think Raila Odinga is a big brand and he has a reputation to keep. I don't think Raila would be negotiating these peace talks because he is doing the peace talks on behalf of William Ruto, who is facing rejection from South Sudan over his relation with the RFS rebels of Sudan. Well, and our big question is, do you think President Ruto is embarrassing Raila Odinga to handle the political crisis in Sudan? Why can't the government use someone natural like former President Uhuru Kenyatta to handle the political negotiations of Sudan on behalf of Kenya? Uhuru is actually handling the political negotiations between Congo and trying to rectify their solutions to the crisis. I think he would have been a better crisis fixer. What do you think? Leave your views in our comment section. Subscribe to Real News Updates Media, the channel where you get all your trending politics. JD Ishmaels.